Hey, Internets. It's Paul. It's Matt, the Dork Lords. We are here talking about Luke Cage Season 2, Episodes 9 and 10.
9 and 10.
Getting near the end. We're going to do an 11 and 12 and then Episode 13 on its own as well. But for now, it's 9 and 10. Now, I stopped at Episode 10.
Yes, I couldn't.
Mr. Bunton
I went ahead.
is now omniscient.
I know all.
His theories are 100% accurate.
Yes, of the rest of the season.
For the rest of the season.
Yeah, third season, not so much.
So, okay. So, that said, episode 9 begins. If you remember, Luke, Mariah, Tilda, and Daddy Luke. Why do I think? I don't know what his name is.
Yeah, me neither.
Reverend. The Rev.
The Rev.
The Rev. Are all hanging out in one of Danny Rand's, like, abandoned labs or a new, I don't know. It's a lab no one's at.
You know, and as an aside,
Or an office building.
I'm going to derail us. As an aside, I'd forgotten that the actor, Daddy, was passed on.
Oh, right. Yes. This
Yeah.
was like his last role. So
Yeah.
if he doesn't actually die this season, then they'd have trouble bringing him back anyway.
Yeah, they will.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So they're hiding out because Bushmaster is still out on the streets looking for Mariah. And so, like, to protect Mariah, Luke has decided, hey, I'll put her in this abandoned office building for a while. So that's where it starts. Episode 10 ends. There's the last two scenes of episode 10. The first one being Mariah and Shades and their gang show up at Gwen's and kill everyone and set Anansi, Bushmaster's uncle, on fire.
Yes.
And then when he's not quite dead yet, Mariah shoots him anyway. Like, why won't you die? Boom. There's that. Then there's a long conversation that Luke and Danny have at a Chinese restaurant. I think it's at Connie's. That was a reference back to anyway. But yes, they're having dinner at a Chinese restaurant, and Danny says, "Hey, you know the reason I showed up is because Claire asked me to check in on you." And it looks like, you talked to Claire, and that's more or less what. So between those two things, stuff happens. That's what we'll talk about between those two things. Okay.
James Lucas is the name of the Reverend.
Oh, okay, right. The character name.
Yep.
Okay, James. So you not being one for
Reg
a lot of
Cathy,
fights.
actor.
Oh, very good. Thank you, sir. Technology. You're not big on the fights, so this episode 9 would have been great for you. Because it's people sitting in a building talking for about an hour.
Woo! They siege him at some point, don't they?
At some point.
Yeah. So.
So there's I don't know whether I like love or hate this episode. Like, on the one hand, I am one that one of the differences, between like a movie
Yes.
and a series or
Sure.
a season is like, hey, you've got 13 hours.
Yeah.
You might as well take some time.
Sure.
And have the guy, let's
Yes.
there's no quiet moments.
Yes.
This is a very long quiet moment.
Yeah.
And I think it goes too long. I think maybe if you did like half or 3/4 even maybe of the amount of time they take just sitting and talking while they wait for Bushmaster to show up, you would have been fine. But it seems like I think it overstays its welcome as like, oh, you just cut the momentum out from this show a bit, in my opinion. I don't know. Can you think back to episode 9?
So far in my memory.
Because you have a series of conversations, right? Everybody
Yes.
everybody
Yes.
pairs up.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't as happy with the about face that happens with, I mean, actually, in this one, is he starting to soften? Luke's starting to soften to his father? I don't know. Yeah, so I wasn't, wasn't completely buying that.
Luke and his dad have a have a little tete-a-tete.
Right.
Luke's dad.
Oh, and it's
gets
there,
his hand
right?
fixed,
When
'cause
they're
Luke,
there, he's
James.
right. But they come up with the idea, which I wasn't crazy, but like she's like, "Oh, well, give me immunity." Right, so then
Yes, this is the immunity
Misty has to leave in order so she can pitch the idea of, you know, and it's like, oh well, Shades is this, he'll look after himself.
Well, it was funny because they almost, I felt like the Misty going. Basically Mariah's like, hey, I'll turn on Bushmaster. I'll give you everything you want to know on Bushmaster so you can put him away, but I want immunity on the gun charges, on any gun charges that will come about. And Misty's like, I don't think boo. Luke's like, well, hey, if he gets Bushmaster off the streets. So Misty goes to kind of proffer this deal to the police station, to the folks there. Now, what was interesting to me is that it felt like the writers wrote themselves into a bit of a corner, and they didn't know a good way to, like, because they have Luke basically go, hey, let's talk to Danny Rand. Of course, Danny does not show up this episode. For better or worse, I guess better. Based on Iron Fist's reception in this thing, is like, oh, that's him, good. But in any case, so Luke, hey, I've got a good plan. We're gonna take these people into hiding.
Yes.
But then they still have to get found out. I mean, eventually something's got to give, and they get found out. So if you just have Bushmaster show up, it's like, oh, well, that was great job, Luke. So instead, they have Misty go out, and then it's kind of Misty's fault. She was talking about where they are in front of cops that were going to get paid off.
Well,
right? I mean, that's
kind of.
Right.
Even though you probably should lay the blame on the crooked cops.
Right. I'm not. Good point. I'm just saying they had to give they had to let Luke off the hook in terms of how do they get found out? Right. They got found out because here's a plot point. Misty goes out into the real world, chats for a while. Somebody overhears her, and bad things happen. But while she's gone, that's everybody talks to everyone else. Now, that said, we learn a lot of information.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I wasn't actually that crazy about sort of like, hey, when I don't have to make the decisions, let's break all the rules. And don't be nice to, don't give what's her name a deal. But now that it's my decision to make, well, maybe I'll make a deal with Mariah.
You're talking Misty at this point.
Yeah.
So Misty's the rival who would play on her basketball team.
Yes.
Nandi, I think is his name. Who then was a jerk to her forever.
Yes.
Then they kind of tried to make them seem like they were getting along a little bit in the last couple episodes.
Yeah, they were.
Now Nandi's like, I'm taking the cash. So she hears the whereabouts of Mariah. Yeah. It's a $3 million bounty. So she shows up at Harlem's Paradise for the cash to turn in. Now, we also find out later, she's like, well, I thought Misty deserved it. So...
Misty?
Or excuse me, I thought Mariah deserved it.
Mariah deserved it, yeah. So, and, she was like, I think she might have said you felt that way too.
Yes, right. Which was true. Misty felt, but not to the point of like, I'm going to go take cash for turning you in from Bushmaster.
Yeah, and the whole thing
There's a big step between.
Because she sold them out, then people come there shooting and people can get killed because, you let these maniacs loose on the situation.
That leads to a weird fist fight they have. I don't know if they arrest Nandi. She's going to be leaving the country on a plane. And they catch her at the plane, and then everybody just stands around while Misty and they fight. I'm like, you guys could just... There's a bunch of you there. There's a criminal who's trying to punch out a cop. Maybe you could stop that.
That's a very... at least I hope it's a very TV show thing to do. Some of the video we've seen is like... I don't know. It wouldn't be as surprising.
But Misty and her bionic arm, pummel the crap out of her, and she's now going away, I guess. Which is interesting because I would have thought she... maybe that's just the end of the character. But it seems like that would be a character who would have a redemption arc where she's like, look, I realize I was wrong, and I'll sacrifice myself to save you, something like that before the end of the season. But if she's just hanging out in jail, then
I would
just
think
hanging out in
so.
jail. Okay, all right. You would know.
That's true. I wouldn't know.
But anyway, all right. So yes,
it's kind of fuzzy though.
Nani's corrupt.
Her.
She's off.
She's off.
Okay. So the big revelation from all of the various conversations that happen in the abandoned office building is that Mariah gives the whole history. Tilda first is talking to Luke and it's like,
Yes.
hey, I'll help you guys out if you tell me the whole story of Mariah.
Oh yeah.
So he
Yeah.
does his best, but he doesn't know the whole story.
No, he doesn't know.
A few minutes later, we learn the whole story.
Yes.
From Mariah herself.
Yes.
She also, because she's trying to reach out to Shades, and she's trying to like, basically, hey, come get me, or I'm, and none of the phones in this building work, and blah blah blah. But she tricks Reverend James out of his phone.
Yes.
She's like, hey, could you show me pictures of young Luke Cage?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Here you go. Let me put this down, and I'll look over here, and I'll totally forget I had a phone at all. And she grabs his phone and then calls Shades with it. But so the backstory is that she confesses to Tilda that she did, in fact, kill Cornell. And she said it's because he loved Uncle Pete more than me. What that means is Uncle Pete.
Oh right.
Had
the one, and she confessed to. She said that she actually really went through the feelings of why she killed her. That was her brother, right? Yeah.
Who? What?
When she killed with the
mic stand,
she
Cornell.
went into Cornell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he said I liked it and I didn't, so that's why she killed him.
Right. So Uncle Pete raped her.
Yep.
And the child born from that was Tilda.
Yes.
So Mariah, this long.
Yeah, I feel like an idiot for not putting that together. We were talking about that. Ooh.
Yeah, I know. We were not good at
and
guessing.
it was
one.
very Chinatown.
Yeah,
And,
good point. Mother, sister.
Yeah.
So she says, yeah, I've been pretending to love you, and I tried to love you. Tried it. Can't do it. Every time I look at you, I see Uncle Pete. Didn't want you. Still don't. Basically, it's like, oh. So she leaves like a sobbing Tilda. And there's like, you think there's even like kind of the snot nose sob. And I was like, you don't have to get that close. You can back the camera off. But she's like just, they're obviously split at that point. I mean,
Yes.
Mariah and Tilda have it'd be awfully hard at this point to have them reconcile after that. Shortly thereafter, Bushmaster, with the information he's gotten from the cop, shows up, offers Luke, like, hey, nobody has to die if you just bring Mariah out. We don't have to fight. And plus, you don't like Mariah either. You know that she's bad for this place. Why not, if you just bring her out peacefully, Luke's, you get, whatever. They delay. I don't think he's seriously considering it, but they give a moment of like,
Yes.
Oh. And he's talking to his dad about all the bad things Mariah's done. And he says, the only thing keeping you alive, Mariah, is I was raised better than that. Which, again, is another thing of the, my dad and I are getting along now.
Yeah.
So
He raised me good.
he raised me, he was great.
Not
he was
to
a
kill
great
people.
dad. And didn't,
Let's sell people out.
basically ended up with me in prison, and
Yes.
this is my illegitimate brother trying to kill me. But thanks, Dad. So there's a raid. A lot of shooting goes on. Mariah picks up a gun at one point. It's a weird scene
Yeah.
where it's almost like the ducks in a gallery thing. She's walking down a hallway and everybody keeps running laterally across. And she's just shooting at them.
Why isn't there any way of getting out of here? No, just run that way.
Yeah, they didn't turn the corner. Anyway, but there's another big fight between Bushmaster and Luke.
Yes.
Luke wins the fight.
Yes, he does. Finally.
He's like, aha, I figured this out.
Anytime he's like up blocking. Anytime he's got like something to throw in his face, he's like,
oh, that's true. He
catching
did.
it.
He
Yeah.
had the powder, and Luke's like, no, you're not gonna do the paralytic agent. So Luke wins, but no one films it, so no one believes it.
No, they don't.
It was like, oh, I got kicked your ass. So Bushmaster is off to jail, and that's all she wrote. It's the end of the series. That's great. No, okay. So Bushmaster goes off. Mariah escapes, I think, or I don't think they bring her in at that point. Anyway, because she's still back out on the streets.
Yeah.
The deal is off because they didn't need her anymore because they've got Bushmaster on his own. So in terms of like if you testify for immunity, I think the immunity deal is off, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. She signed something, but then I felt like the deal was off at that point. Just because Bushmaster had already done all this stuff and had attacked cops and everything, so like, oh, we don't need your input anymore. But Bushmaster, he's got one of the hammer weapons.
Yes.
An explosive fits in the palm of his hand, blows up the inside of the truck, basically kills theoretically, I don't know, severely injures if not kills everyone else in the truck.
Yeah, I would think.
And with his own healing properties, he's able to survive.
Barely.
I was just watching Mission Impossible Fallout this weekend. Which, by the way, recommend. Very good action movie. But it's another one that's not really much of a spoiler. Anytime there's a criminal in the truck, if they show a criminal in a truck, criminals getting out of the truck. That's kind of like you either show the criminal in jail, hey I'm there already, or you show him just getting arrested and like, oh, it looks like it's done for him. Yeah. If they bother to show a criminal in a truck, criminals getting out of the truck. All right. Anyway, so
cops should always be like, hey, why is that camera in here?
Yeah, exactly. No cameras in the truck. No. So Bushmaster survives. He goes back to Tilda's place, Mother's Touch, her dispensary.
Yes.
To get what he needs to heal himself.
Yes.
And Tilda's there. I guess Tilda just decided to go back there. It's a little weird.
When she had, she's like had enough from her mom, so that's her place.
That's her place, I guess. But it wasn't necessarily the safest place to go. But anyway, she goes.
Yes.
Maybe with Bushmaster taken in, she's like, I'm fine. But so she's hanging out there, and now since she has no real love for her mom at this point, she's like, oh, fine, I'll help you out.
Sure.
So she's helping Bushmaster recover, which he does for most, if not all, of the next episode. Mm. I don't think we see him too much at all in episode 10.
No.
So I think we finish off episode 9 with Mariah's back with shades, and they kiss. They seem to kiss every scene they're in. It's like,
I gotta kiss.
I hate you. You're bad. Hey, times are tough. All right, let's kiss. They kiss, and they go to the next scene. Like, okay, I got it. But
I kind of like that scene though, when he sort of talks her back, because they've had it before, obviously, but this time they were really like, "This is it. You should have done what I said, and you suck." And they really, look, you got to go back to where you were. You're not going to be this great thing or whatever. And so it's his fault what happens next.
Right, he opens the trunk, and they've got Anansi, Bushmaster's uncle, in the trunk, which we did correctly predict that the uncle's time was limited.
Yes.
That's bad. All right, so, and that's kind of where they're like, aha, here's where we get our payback, starting with Uncle. Mariah and Shades try to interrogate Uncle at Harlem's Paradise.
Yes.
While they're interrogating him, Luke shows up. Luke and Danny show up.
Yes, they do.
Looking for Tilda? I think they're trying to find Tilda because of the, hey, she's got this nightshade thing and this angle on how to defeat Bushmaster.
Yeah.
They can't seem to find Tilda. Mariah's like, hey, we're done. Tilda's nothing. But she deliberately tries not to show them old Uncle.
Yeah.
And we note that there's a whole bunch of folks, at the club, obviously, and there is no fight that breaks out. And Luke says, yeah, they're all looking at you,
Yep.
Danny.
Yep.
Danny's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, money.
Yeah,
Money equals power.
He's a walking money.
He's Mr. Moneybags.
Mr. Moneybags.
We'll finish off the Anansi part. Is that they take Anansi back to the Gwyn's. I think the idea, at least in Shade's mind, is, hey, we'll bring him back here and we'll torture somebody he loves into talking and giving us up the information on where Bushmaster is.
Maybe.
But in Mariah's mind, that's not what she's doing at all.
I mean, I think he was saying in terms of he's leverage, like, okay, you use him there when you get him there, but then you keep him so that you can say, oh, you better do what we want, otherwise we'll hurt him. And
yeah. So Mariah proceeds to kill everyone, especially the first person that dies is Billy.
Yes. The traitorous Billy.
The traitor who was hanging out at Gwen's like, oh, great. She's killed. Everybody dies. Everybody dies, and then Anansi is lit on fire.
Yeah.
With some Bushmaster rum.
Yeah.
And then in his screams of pain, she eventually shoots him. It's like, right when she died, boom.
Yeah.
That's a pretty disturbing death scene, I'll say.
It's interesting that it's like, I suspected at the time that he was like cursing her, basically.
He is giving a curse or a prophecy.
Yeah.
I mean, he basically says, you'll never taste anything.
Yeah.
You're never gonna. All the people you'll love are gonna die or something. I mean, he's like, you're doomed.
Yep.
You're a cursed person.
Yep.
Which I gotta believe is probably true. I don't know. Like, he is the we called him the Obi-Wan Kenobi character earlier, a few episodes ago, because he seemed to be dispensing all of this wisdom to Bushmaster. So I'm guessing. I mean, she's a villain. She's currently on top, I guess, because she's hanging out at Heart of Paradise. But he is prognosticating her decline, which I think inevitably will happen. But
I do know,
and I can't imagine it ends with her like, everything's great with me, and
it's like,
got away from the cops.
Wedding bells between Mariah and Luke.
I thought Shades, but okay, even weirder.
Spoiler.
At the church,
yes,
the dad weds Mariah and Luke.
Yep.
Wow,
you
that's
just
touching.
Hear him off camera because he didn't make it to the end of production. But,
that would be controversial.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, very, like, one of the more disturbing death scenes.
Yes.
Maybe in the series is like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Not good.
And it's so disturbing, in fact, that Shades is disturbed.
Yes.
And you can see, I think he says, like, this wasn't what we came here for, or something like that. And she's like, oh, we're sending a message. Yeah. So we get the idea that Shades is breaking from Mariah. There's even a scene right after that where they're back at the club or something, and she's watching the performer, and Shades does the slow motion walk away. And we're getting the idea that's like, you've now turned supervillain. I'm not cool with this.
Yeah, I just like regular villain.
Yeah, I want to make money and, be at the top of the influential game. I didn't necessarily sign up to be a monster. Goes around. I mean, he's done enough monstrous things, but
yeah.
I think she's gone too far. The torturing and killing of Anansi, I feel like, and the killing everybody in the place.
Yeah. He's
like, all right, I think you pushed this too far.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see further separation there between the two of them. Who else do we have? So they have the Danny. Danny has shown up. They go try to find Tilda. They can't find Tilda, but they see all these ingredients. Oh, nightshade. Where can they grow nightshade? Oh, so then they go try to find where somebody might get nightshade.
A grow house, yeah.
And they end up finding a grow house. They break in, have a fight scene. It's a cool fight scene.
Yeah, I like having them.
Yeah, they do the combo powers.
Yeah.
And then burn the place down.
What do they call it? Patty cake? Is that what they said?
I forgot the name.
I think it's a petty
probably right. Danny's still like there's something about his character that's just it's either written wrong or the way he keeps saying dude, and yet then also tries to be Obi-Wan. He tries to be the Obi-Wan Kenobi guy. Look, you must practice stillness. And when I was in Kunlun, they taught me blah blah blah. Dude, anyway, what's going on? Hey guy, whoa, that's all. Anyway, it's just the writing doesn't seem to know where he fits tonally. I think I just have a hard time. Anyway, it's just me.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
is he the wise mentor character? Is he the dude sidekick guy? Is he, I don't know, is he toughened, gritty man of the streets superhero? Or is he rich, well-off superhero guy?
Well, he's definitely rich and well-off.
No, he's definitely rich and well-off. Good point. I don't know. It just feels like I can't get a grip on what his character actually is. But anyway, I do think I generally like his scenes with Luke, though. I mean, I think they make a reasonable team, and I think that whole heroes for hire thing is definitely in play for later.
Maybe.
I mean, when he dies weirdly, and then somehow Iron Fist season 2 is all about the death, like mourning the loss of him. Bushmaster, was gone. So we've got basically at this point, Mariah is probably at the zenith of where she's gonna be.
Sure.
And she's probably gonna start coming down now. Luke and Danny have met up. Oh, the fact that Danny says, hey, Claire had me look in on you. Luke's like, what? Hey, you talked to Claire? Why didn't you talk to me? And he's like, I think you know.
Yes.
And she told me
to say that because I don't know.
Because I don't know why. So Claire's obviously still thinking about Luke, is worried about his well-being, but sends Danny to go look in on him. And he does so.
Yes.
So good for you, Danny. They also have a little, Zen fighting prowess moment.
Yeah.
You have to practice stillness. You're too angry, basically.
Yeah.
Don't be angry. Don't fight angry.
Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
All right, so he's not Obi-Wan. He's Yoda. He Yoda'd it.
Yeah, Yoda'd.
Okay.
He Yoda'd.
So you now know what the controversial ending is.
I do know.
And so I'm trying to think,
At least I kind of know.
Like a controversial end means something that the audience didn't expect, I would think.
Yeah.
So what I would
potentially
expect,
didn't even agree with.
Okay. Well, I mean, what I would expect from here on out. So we got 3 episodes left. I would expect, obviously, Bushmaster and Luke converge again. There's a big fight scene. I think Bushmaster probably forces Luke to kill him. I mean, I would expect that to happen. That Bushmaster would die. I would expect Mariah to go to jail. I would expect Tilda. I think somehow Tilda maybe. Oh man, I don't know. If she takes on the Stokes legacy, maybe. Maybe with Mariah in jail, I just don't see her as power hungry as I think. She doesn't seem like a person that would take the club and I'm gonna run things while you're in jail, Mom. So maybe that's one way it could go. But I feel like I don't know her story there. I feel like also the way I'm expecting it to go, I feel like maybe Shades would be killed off because he's gonna betray Mariah, and then in that betrayal, kind of like Comanche died, that he also gets killed off. Perhaps we did see, interestingly, one of Mariah's henchmen beg off before they go do the killing at the Gwens. Right? There's the one guy's like, "I'm not doing this anymore," and the other henchman's like, "Hey, you're in." He's like, "You shoot me if you want, but I didn't sign up for this." and they let him go.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. So it's kind of the same idea, and I think that's foreshadowing shades going, I didn't sign up for this either. I'm out. Like, this is ouch. Anyway, so those would be the expectations, I think. So something that's not expected.
I see what you're saying.
So in other words, like it would be a Bushmaster lives, turns into a good guy. Mariah doesn't go to jail. Ends up on top and is everything, still evil but scot free.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. Anyway.
Oh wow, there are more characters.
There more. Okay, so Luke dies. That would be incredibly funny. Bushmaster wins, and it's like, holy crap! I didn't see that coming.
Say no.
I mean,
no to that.
So okay, the way you just said that suggests to me that Luke is the character that people are having controversy about. So, what would be a controversial ending for Luke? Luke breaks up with Claire. That could be a controversial thing, maybe. Luke, he's not going to turn into a bad guy. Luke gives in to his anger? Man, I don't know. Keep telling me to stop being angry. Screw that. I'm better when I'm angry.
Now, Angry Cage. That's my name.
I mean, they could have I guess you could have I just said that I thought Luke and Danny were seemed like they were going to do this Heroes for Hire thing, but you could have a situation where they
fall out.
But all right, anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. You don't know.
Damn it! I got 3 episodes to figure this out. You watching probably have already seen everything as well. Yeah. But if you happen to be following along, make your predictions.
There you go.
All right, cool. So that is episodes 9 and 10. We'll be back with 11 and 12 and 13. Also, we've been talking about doing another series. If you got some ideas for series we should cover, put them in the comments. One of the thoughts you mentioned, because it's coming up soon, is George R. R. Martin's sci-fi series Night Flyers is coming out. We were thinking about maybe doing that. I think it's in September or something. There is Iron Fist season 2. We might wait to see what their critical reception is of that. If it's similar to Iron Fist season 1, we might not do that one. But if people are like, wow, they really took in a new direction. Yeah. We could be covering that. Later, I think in 2019, we've got several things we were talking about doing. Yeah. American Gods will be coming back. Good Omens, great book that was BBC's making into a series, will be back. Will be made.
It seems like Neil Gaiman has an even closer association with its making.
Speaking of Neil Gaiman, stories being, American Gods, Good Omens, bang. Game of Thrones comes back. You mentioned a series on sci-fi. What was it? Dead. High school. No. Okay. Anyway, there's another series
something
we were thinking about doing. Something about it's like a training ground for assassins or something like that. Anyway, it's coming up on Sci-Fi Channel. Anyway, if you've got notions, let us know what they are. Somebody did mention we should do Man in the High Castle. I haven't seen any episodes of that, but it would fit in the Dork Lord's mold. So perhaps Man on the High Castle is coming back for season 3 in October. That could be a thing. Anyway, so
Deadly Class.
What is it called? Deadly Class. There we go. If you that. Anyway, give us some thoughts. That would be lovely. Anyway, thanks everybody.